Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing yet another movie review, so hopefully you find this one interesting. Now before this review I will say that this is a different location. This is going to be a makeshift location until we actually move out. We've collected a lot of our stuff. We're actually bought a new home, so we're going to be there very soon. So until then, hopefully this location is not too distracting. So today we're going to be looking at a drama from Sweden, Swedish language English subs, released in the year 2020, directed by Peter Grondland, and this film is called Goliath. And so Goliath is about a young man who is on the brink of adulthood, but he's going to have to grow up very quickly. He lives in a very harsh environment. It's a very low-income area of the city. His father is a drug dealer. His mother is very sick. She can't support herself. And his sister is very young. So his father is actually going to jail for a few months. And so there's no one to really support the family, no one to really keep a roof above the head and food on the table. So the bank is going to take the home unless the father can convince the main character to take over his position until he comes back. So the main character is out of his depth. He doesn't like this world, but he sees it as his obligation. But unfortunately, complications are going to arise because his friend actually has an opportunity in an internship out of the city. So she sees it as her escape, but she wants the main character to go with him. And so this is the decision that he's going to have to make. Does he go for his own happiness, or does he go for the happiness of others? So what he chooses, something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Goliath. This is a movie that yet again I heard nothing about, so I didn't know what to expect. I had a healthy dose of skepticism, but when I saw this on Stan, which is an Australian streaming service, if you can't find it anywhere else, Stan is definitely the go-to. I thought, alright, well I definitely have to check this movie out. You know, Scandinavian cinema, whether it's independent or a bigger budget, is definitely something that piques my interest. But I had the skepticism because no one ever talks about it. It was yet another foreign film that went completely under the radar. And unfortunately, recently, a lot of these movies have gone under the radar, which definitely is something of a concern, because foreign movies just don't get the same sort of reaction that these mega budget Hollywood films get. And so not knowing exactly what to expect with Goliath, I come away from this movie very surprised at how emotionally investing this experience was. This is a film that I thought was very depressing. It was actually quite emotional, and it was definitely something that I could relate to, because this actually felt like a documentation of a family who were going through a really hard time. And this is definitely the question that it poses as to whether or not you go for your own happiness or you go for the happiness of others. And this is the plight of the main character, and this is the reason why I was invested from start to finish, because I didn't know what this character was going to choose. And so there were moments that I actually felt he felt very close to his family, but then there were moments where I felt as though he was disconnecting himself from the family. There were moments where I felt as though he was very close to his friend, but there were moments where I felt as though he was disconnecting himself from his friend. And so both sides that he's actually having to choose to were actually pulling him to and fro. And so I never felt as though it was a predictable film. And so the questions that beg answering, I thought it was really well thought out, and it just maintains your interest, and it never outstays its welcome. Now, this is a very independent film, and it actually reminded me of Justin Kurzel's Snowtown. Not in that it was disturbing like Snowtown, but it was though it was suburbia. This is a life where I actually felt as though it wasn't a movie. And so there were moments in these characters where I actually could see myself, and I thought as though if I chose different things in life, maybe I would actually find myself in this predicament. And then you ask yourself the question, if you were facing this desperation, would you do the bad things that these characters were doing? And so this main character, his father especially, I could see that he loved his family, but he was doing horrible things in order to preserve his family. And so yes, you don't condone what he's doing, but it gives you a reason as to what he's doing. If you give a reason as to why someone's doing something, you can learn it and you can understand it a lot better. And so the more I understood this family, the more emotionally attached I become. And so this wouldn't be able to have been achieved if it wasn't for the very fine script, which allows these characters to blossom in a way which allows these actors to produce some really good performances, especially the main character and his father. I thought it was a very tense relationship that they had, but I could actually feel a lot of the love that it was, and there were some moments actually really emotionally touching. And so that was something that I really liked about the film. It knew exactly what it wanted to do. It wanted to be an independent sort of drama, so if it didn't have interesting characters, then ultimately it falls flat. But because it knows exactly what it wants and it executes those ideas very well, I thought as though it was definitely a worthwhile drama. I thought as though the emotional soundtrack really did intensify and pull on the heartstrings. It wasn't melodramatic, and it was just a matter-of-fact look at a very desperate situation and these characters and what they were going to do. I never felt as though I knew exactly what was going on through this main character's mind. So it's a very tormenting film, and I thought as though it was a movie that did have some harsh violence, which I thought had a very strong reason, because it just wanted to evolve the world that this main character was in. But when the main character sees an opportunity to get out, you want him to get out, but then you're torn between two of them because you want him to stay for his family. But this is where the question is asked. Do you actually go for your own happiness? Is that a selfish thing? Or do you actually care for your family and you put your happiness on hold? And this is unfortunately what a lot of people have to choose from. And so that is definitely the main focus of the film. And I thought as though that's what captivated my interest. And so I definitely feel as though, as far as independent cinema is concerned, this is definitely one that I would check out. I wouldn't go out of my way to check it out. There are many movies that have actually documented this, and there are some that have been better, but there have been some that have been worse, and so it's definitely worth your time if you come across it by chance. Low budget independent cinema, it proves that you don't need a mega budget to make an interesting film. I thought emotionally it was very, very investing. It was actually quite emotional, and it definitely has a very depressing world that will make you think about your own life. So overall, for Goliath, very surprising. I'm going to give this film 4 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.